Let's talk a little baseball. Things going on right now before we get out of here. The National League. We were all hot and bothered for the National League West, the National League Central for a while. Brett, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Braves are the only teams in the National League that have a plus 500 record. The Yankees have the best record in baseball, 671, and the National League has 4 teams above 500. What gives?
Well, it seemed like a couple years ago I was talking about this. Baseball ebb and flows. It's the National League, it's the American League. It goes back and forth who's dominant. Some years are big hitting years. Some years are the year of the pitcher. That's the way baseball is. That's the way it's always has been. A couple years ago, the National League was dominant. It was just a better league. Well, that's flip-flopped again. The American League is far superior team-wise than the National League. The National League kind of stinks, Rich. And I don't mean that in a brazen way. They kind of stink. I mean, you've got the Philly. There's 2 elite teams in the National League. I think there's 4 elite teams in the game of baseball right now, my opinion. That would be That would be the Yankees. That'd be the Baltimore Orioles. That'd be the Philadelphia Phillies and the LA Dodgers. Now, in the National League, Philly and LA to me are the 2 elite, top of the rung. And then you got a Milwaukee, Atlanta Braves. They're in that second tier of not quite elite, but pretty good. And then the rest are just kind of average. These are 500 teams. You got St. Louis as of today, who we thought were dead and buried a month ago. Oh, St. Louis finished in the basement a year ago. They're going to do it again. They're in the wildcard. The Washington Nationals right now, if play stopped today, are in the playoffs. The Washington Nationals. And you have teams like the San Diego Padres, who we've been waiting for them to be good. Arizona, Pittsburgh, the Cubs, who have fallen on terrible times right now. The Cubs are 1 game out of the wild card. The San Francisco Giants haven't done much. You haven't heard about the Mets. The Mets were dead and buried. All they were talking about was the Yankees. The Mets, as of today, are 1 game out of the wild card. The only teams that have
Mets. Wait a minute, say that again. The Mets are 1 game out of the wild card.
And they've won 7 in a row. They're hot right now. But they're 1 game out of the wild card right now. The only teams that have pretty much eliminated themselves from postseason play in the National League are the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins.
They're other 10 than that, and 11.5 as we record.
Other than that, everybody's in right now. Everybody's within 1 game. It's unbelievable. I don't know at this point of the season I've seen this big of a juggernaut. It's great for the game.
It's good for the game?
Absolutely. How many cities? Cincinnati has been pathetically mediocre all year, and they're sitting 1.5 games out. That keeps the city of Cincinnati on the edge of their seat going, hey, we got a chance. The Padres have been, since they had this big revamp and spent all this money and had all this talent come in, they've been a big disappointment last year especially, but this year they had high expectations. They're 38-40, and they're 0.5 game out. They
crazy.
Just have to they win tonight, they might be in. The Nationals? Who's talked about the Nationals? Who's talked about the St. Louis Cardinals this year? Cardinals, Nationals, and the Atlanta Braves are the wild card if the playoffs started tomorrow.
So what's crazier? Amazing. What's crazier that I've got 3 plus 500 teams in the American League Central, or I've got everybody except for 2 still with the shot as we get closer and closer to the All-Star game, which is crazier. That the American League Central, Cleveland 634, Minnesota 554, Kansas City 547. That's supposed to be the weakest division. Your Seattle Mariners,
dominating
9 games up. 9 games up.
Yeah, dominating the National League West.
Are they dominating, or is the rest of the National League West slipped?
Definitely, the National League West has slipped. Houston, they've been a fixture at the top of that division for years and years now, 4, 5, 6 years. They just ran into some trouble. The pitching staff, Verlander came back late. He's 40 years old. Valdez is pitching okay. Javier, big third starter for them, went down. He's having Tommy John. that Hader Presley combo. Hader coming over from the Padres a year ago with that big contract. He came over. That's been okay. But if you ask them, that's probably a failed experiment to have two closers. Presley's really having a tough time with a ERA north of 5. The Texas Rangers, interesting. They've had a ton of injuries. They're young third baseman, young. He went down. He's been banged up. Seager's not having the year that he had a year ago. I look across the board at the Texas Rangers. A year ago on the offensive side, it was one in every offensive category. They're at the bottom of most of the offensive categories right now. They pitch okay. Their bullpen's really beat up. The only thing for the Texas Rangers, and I would say at this point in the season, never say never, especially with the current system. There's 6 spots, so you never say never. It's not too late right now for a lot of these teams. The Texas Rangers, interesting, are starting to get healthy. Young's coming back. Their young third baseman. He'll add a spark to that offense. And you've got Max Scherzer, who I believe is making his debut Saturday. And they're talking about DeGrom starting to throw. He just threw 50 pitches in a bullpen the other day, looking for him to come back after the All-Star break. If you had a healthy Max Scherzer, although he's not going to be Max Scherzer in his prime, and a DeGrom coming back the second half, that changes the dynamic big time for the Texas Rangers. That being said, I think the Seattle Mariners, and we're talking Yankees, Baltimore, Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves, put them all in the mix. The Seattle Mariners have the best starting pitching staff in all of baseball, and I don't see anybody that challenges them as the best. Problem is with Seattle, their offense is really mediocre, but they do have a nose for the finish line. I'm coining that phrase, put it on a shirt, do whatever you want, Rich. But they've got a nose for the finish line. They're a mediocre offensive team at best. But I know these type of teams in the 7th inning, it's close, they're tied, they kind of look at each other and they know, hey, somebody's going to come through because we've done it so many times. Flair for the dramatic, call it that if you want. But I'll tell you what, the Seattle Mariner team for the first time are in position where you can really say they're probably going to win this division handily. And you haven't been able to say that for 20 plus years.
Okay, rapid fire because we're almost done here. 3 news items I want to get to real quick. You ready?
Yeah.
Reaction, Mookie Betts out for a while with a broken hand.
Dodgers are good enough to kind of take that blow right now. You've got enough great players around them. That's what makes the Dodgers so great is their depth, and they can cushion this blow. I think still Dodgers win that division handily. They just got enough talent around to make up for his 6 weeks absence.
And again, rapid fire. I said in our quarter point review, I'm buying the Yankees. They haven't played their best baseball yet. Garrett Cole's coming back. Is he going to make me a brilliant strategist by saying, hey, the Yankees are just going to keep getting better?
I think so. I don't know that they can play better than they have. Giancarlo Stanton's been the juggernaut, the key to that offense for me. Garrett Cole coming back only makes them better. I think this is a Yankee team as long as they stay healthy. I always hit on that. Yankees got to be healthy. If they stay healthy, they're one of the best teams in baseball.
My goal is the end of the season, when the Yankees win the World Series, you ride on the Yankees bus with Aaron back to the hotel.
If they do that, absolutely I will. Absolutely I will. I'll tell you that division, Rich, you're talking about weak division, National League having a lot of weak. That division's good. I mean, nobody's talking about the Boston Red Sox. They're in the National League. They'd be winning a division. They're 40 and 35. They really pitch and
Right.
they hit more than people give them credit to. Not a lot has been paid to the Boston Red Sox, but that's a tough division. And I don't think it's over because that Baltimore team, man, they're good. I watch them time and time again, try to dismiss them as they're young. They're not ready to win. These guys can rake. The only problem is they're going to need some pitching down the stretch. They just got bad news that Bradish, their third starter, he's going to have Tommy John. So they're going to be on the look. They've lost Means and Bradish now. Baltimore is going to be on the look, especially at that deadline for some more pitching.
By the way, the story I was alluding to was if you watched the podcast last time Uncle Aaron came on, Aaron Boone, when Brett was with the Braves, Aaron was at the ballpark. They're getting back to the hotel, and Brett insisted that Aaron jump on the team bus with the Braves, and Aaron's like, I don't want to get on your team bus, so that's what I like to see. Aaron win the World Series and Brett ride back on the bus next to his brother.
Yeah, I would make an exception.
Yeah,
I would
there you
make
go.
an exception.
All right, last one. We're getting real rapid fire because we're running out of time here. Jose Abreu, former MVP, released them $30 million. And people are, oh, what a bad contract. I mean, he just fell off the face of the earth.
That happens. Sometimes when you hit a certain age, it happened to me. Your legs go. You don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason. I remember talking to Robbie Alomar years prior to I got to that point. He told me, Booney, I woke up in this spring training. I was just old, and it was, and I at the time, I'm 31, 32, going, that'll never happen to me. Well, it happened to me. It happens to all of us. I watched Abreu, great player, a lot of years MVP. It was his time, and I knew that the writing was kind of on the wall. He just didn't have it.
Okay.